Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yeah. Hit the subscribe button, please. YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch. Try for all of them. Hey there. How's everyone doing? Welcome to Celebfantastiq. I'm your host, Celebfantastiq. And we're going to just do a few mini TV reviews here. Starting with Snowpiercer here, who started their third season last Monday on TNT. And they're starting 6 months later from the events of last season, where they tried to find Mel after going back for her at the research station. They did not find her. They found her journals, and they found the data packs that she had made, indicating a bunch of hotspots around the world, which for her and for others meant that the Earth was finally warming up. Layton, of course, wanted that and decided to split Snowpiercer into a pirate train. Took 10 cars off of Snowpiercer Big Alice and hiked it back to the research station to look for her and that. And so 6 months later, they're going around the world, somehow evading another train while they're both still on the same track. Not sure how that happens. The pirate train is faster. As you can see, it's running hotter and running faster. They're all wearing tank tops and making summer jokes and that. But yeah, they're somehow, I guess maybe that's just it, that they're faster and so they can evade and go off different tracks. We saw there that there was a switch somewhere up the line as they were going around. So yeah, Wilford in the meantime on Snowpiercer is going much slower, and this is causing problems because the faster Snowpiercer went, or at least went for a regular fast speed that didn't differentiate, the better Snowpiercer was. Everything worked. All your electricity, all of your goods, everything. It didn't get cold or anything like that. Now, though, without the pirate train and an extra engine, Snowpiercer, for some reason, is going much slower. And they've lost a lot of power. They've lost their heat, for one thing now. It's getting colder, which, again, does not make sense that they're still able to function. If it's getting cold, everyone should be frozen to death. That's what they all said in the last 2 seasons. Stick your arm out the window, you get frozen. The moment you stick a toe out there, you're getting frozen. So how is it they're going slower? They've lost heat, but all they have to do is bundle up in big coats and gloves. Anyways, this train is going slower. Mr. Wilford is getting angrier. He's being defeated by Layton, being shown up by Mel, who still seems to figure in the posters and the trailers. So I'm wondering and thinking that at some point she's going to show up in the third season. Wilford, again, is looking for a resistance group. They've been hiding out, and they're being led by none other than Ruth, of all the people on the train. And at one point, he does find a few resistance collaborators or whatever, and punishes them. Javi, by the way, is actually still alive after that vicious dog attack, but he's a shell of his former self. He's just kind of mute, watching the buttons, pressing buttons, and he doesn't talk or do anything. The dog guards him and growls at him the whole time. It's not a good situation on the train there. Zara is basically the new head of hospitality there, it seems. She's taking care of a lot of things, reporting to Wilford, who's keeping her alive just because of that baby. Meanwhile, Leighton and the pirate crew are doing test samples. They're going out into the snow, taking test samples and bringing them back and seeing, hey, if Mel's idea that there were warm spots around. And sure enough, Ben, who's been going out, falls through an old research station. Leighton and Josie go out. They grab him, and Josie brings him back to Snowpiercer. But Leighton stays behind to just look around and all that. And he does. He looks around, and he finds first a glowing red engine sort of thing, which shouldn't be. Everything should be frozen. Nothing should be working. So that's perplexing. And then he gets attacked by someone out of the blue. He overcomes them and brings the two of them back to their pirate train. And yeah, this person has somehow survived the last 7-8 years in the cold. So that's a new question. It's interesting. I look forward to the rest of the season. It looks absolutely amazing. Superman and Lois. And yes, right there. Spoiler alert. Should tell you this. But yeah, that's Clark, who's been having terrible visions, finally finds out what's causing the visions. Superman and Lois, I think, is one of the best shows on the CW, and one of the best, if not the best, superhero show. Better than even The Flash, I think. Lois and Clark are an incredible couple. They're complex. They seem real in a way. Lois is the kind of the tough guy with the kids. Clark's the kind of easygoing dad who, he has the weight of the world on his shoulders trying to rescue all them, and then he has to try to pay attention to his family. The kids are teenagers. They're dumb. I don't particularly care for them, and that's all I'm going to say about them. In this episode, we finally find out why Clark is having all of these terrible visions that have been incapacitating him at the worst times. Along with the visions, there have been massive and bigger earthquakes around Smallville, and they're centering on the mine where the kryptonite K was being mined last season, in season 1. Clark thinks that his visions and that could be from the Eradicator from last season that had all those lost Kryptonian souls in them, in which Tal-Rho, his half-brother, tried to unleash on the Earth and create a new Kryptonian. So he gets his brother, Tal-Rho, from out of prison there, and they hike it to Rho's fortress, where there's actually another Kryptonian AI hologram of their mother, Laura L. And she's kind of funny at first. When she's activated, she actually asks Tall Ro, who the heck are you, you know? And Tall Ro goes on into a rage and like, of course you wouldn't recognize your own son. And she's like, oh, yeah, yes, of course, Tall Ro. And she explains what happens, you know. Kryptonians are not raised, they are not born, they're uh, in a test tube and raised like that sort of thing at first. So, but eventually, Kal-El, or Superman, has another vision and attack. She's able to tell him that it's a invading alien presence. It's another presence in him that's trying to either take over or live beside him or something. And in the end of the episode, we find out that in the mines, it's none other than Bizarro, not Doomsday, which everyone was thinking was going to come out. But the producers, once again, did a sly little magic trick there with us. And it's now Bizarro, and he seems to be even more powerful than before. I don't know. It's not explained yet how he came about. The mining people, the executives, seem to know. The lady there seemed to know what that was all about. So it'll be interesting again to see what comes of that. And if he's going to last the whole season, he probably will last the whole season. Doomsday might still come out, but he will probably be reserved for the third season. I'm betting we get something at the end of the season about him. I think the visions are not just Bizarro. I think Doomsday is causing some of those visions. This is just kind of a slight misdirect, a red herring, if you will, as they look at Bizarro, and then Doomsday kind of sneaks in, and boom, we've got a situation at the end of the season. So yeah, Superman and Lois doing great, and you can catch that on Tuesdays on the CW. Then we go to the Book of Boba Fett, which is on Disney Plus. And this episode 5, was not an episode of Boba Fett. It was a Mandalorian episode. And that just kind of killed the momentum. It really did, of Boba Fett. I expected a montage of Fennec going out and getting maybe some famous bounty hunters, or maybe some new bounty hunters for this army to defend Fett's new territory, Tatooine, the old Hutt Empire there. Yet, we got none of that. We got a special episode of The Mandalorian that could have been used as a separate episode, an episode 0, or it could have been the first episode of season 3. It didn't push the story forward for Boba Fett. We kind of guessed that the Mandalorian would be around to help, but that doesn't mean we wanted a whole episode of just the Mandalorian. And I kept waiting. When's the Boba Fett going to come? But he didn't. We found out that the Mandalorian has been doing great. He's doing his bounty hunter stuff, and he misses Grogu. He also finds where the armorer is now residing. She's residing in a new place, and he goes to her. He has the Beskar spear that he got in the Ahsoka episode there, which he got as a gift, and the armorer rightfully tells him, you gotta melt that down because Beskar can pierce Beskar armor. So it's a weapon against us. You can't have it. So Mando has that melted down for a gift for Grogu, who he wants to go and see. He's formed an attachment to this little guy, which is interesting because Jedi are not supposed to have attachments. So it will be interesting to see if he actually does go and visit Grogu, and if Luke shows up and basically says, no, get lost, sort of thing. It'll be cool to see if Grogu has grown in what he's been able to do, or if he's still scared to use his powers or something. Other than that, we also see that Mando is kicked out of his cult religious thing with the armor, the way. He confesses during a fight for the Darksaber, which he's been using but is having trouble using, that he took his helmet off. Of course, last season he took it off a couple times last season. One was to defeat a eye scanner or whatever, and the other was to Grogu. He showed Grogu, and everyone else really kind of saw his face as well in that episode where he showed Grogu his face when Grogu left. The armorer kicks him out, no feelings whatsoever. She also tells the story of the last days of Mandalore during the Night of the Thousand Years. We see the huge bomb explosions going off where it's a sea of glass. It's like all these explosions, and you can see how Mandalore was wiped out. It's not clear, though, when this happened. If it happened just about 6 years ago, if you go by Mandalorian times, it would be about 6 years ago when the Empire was defeated at Jakku, and that Moff Gideon, I think, may have done that mass bombing to destroy Mandalore. At least that's what I'm thinking. Again, it's just not clear when this happened. The armor also gives a story about Bo-Katan, and I'm thinking those two have history with each other. It'll be interesting to see what Bo-Katan says about the end of Mandalore and the Darksaber, how she lost it. The Ahsoka series that's coming up may also tie in with that because of Sabine Wren, who had the saber before Bo and who just gave it to her. When here it's said you have to win it in battle, so people will follow you. And there's a lot of stuff that Mando doesn't know, and I think he's going to get his eyes opened next season on his show. We're going to go into see episode 6. I hope it looks like with Boba Fett already having gathered his army. So we'll have a whole thing of them preparing to attack the Pikes. And then the last episode will be the attack on the Pikes and the resolution there. But again, this just kind of stopped everything. So, oh well, that's the way they wanted to do it. This is a limited series. I don't believe we're getting a season 2 on this. So, we'll just have to watch and see. Everyone keeps saying on the show that the last episode is going to blow us away. And I hope so. Kind of hoping we'll see a certain Jedi show up. Here and that. So yeah, so lots of good shows coming out. I'm going to try to get to some other ones, such as Mayor of Easttown, Hawkeye, I want to get to. Arcane, I would like to review with you. So just a few shows that I'm hoping to catch up on. Might take some time. I hope you guys stick with it and stick with me, and I'm hoping I get a lot better at this. This is my first app. So subscribe to the channel and hit the like button and comment below. Thanks for all the views and coming to watch, and God bless.